Alright, welcome back to the channel, BS Gang. If you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Huge shout out to my members. If you want to become a member, go ahead and click that join button right next to the subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it. It helps out the channel. But let's go ahead and let's just get into the video. So, we have on, again, huge shout outs to the Grand Cross database, right? Both of my videos for today will be on their website. I recently got a new phone, so I got to do a couple of things before I, actually record some gameplay. But we'll go ahead and we'll go over all of the status effects in the game and which characters have them. This is very helpful, by the way. This is very, very helpful. I love this website. I really love this website. They put so much effort and work into it. It's very, very good. So let's go ahead and let's look at every unit that has at least a status effect in the game, right? Now you can see right here, the categories are buff, debuff, and eternal effects. Consider unit skills, ultimate moves, and passive, but not the commandments, which are listed separately. So let's go ahead and look at them. So for buff effects, right, we have increased stats effects. So this is all like buff effects in the game that increase a certain stat. So for increased attack, the only two units that do this are Blue Elaine and Green Gil Thunder. Increasing attack is actually not that good nowadays. You want it to be increased attack related stats, like you can see right here, right? And it also gives you a description, which is very nice. So the only two units in the game that have it are these two, which is crazy to think about, because when you think about increasing attack, you're like, there must be other units, but there actually isn't. These two are actually the only ones that increase attack. And then we can double check, because sometimes it might not be updated, but we can literally check. Increases attack, right? Boom, right there. So those are the only two in the game, which is insane, because this is an SR and then this is a limited time SSR, which isn't even that good. So maybe in the future we could get a unit that does increase attack, but their passive could be something like when increased attack, decreases the enemy's defense related stats or something like that. But again, you really don't want this as much as you want increased attack related stats. So that, obviously, so these three are the only ones that have this in the game. These are the only three units that increase attack related stats in the game, at least with a skill, right? Where this isn't in like at least with a skill or whatever. So it's actually really, really cool. This isn't considering passive buffs, right? There could be some characters in the game that do passively increase attack related stats. For example, Green Gulther, he does increase attack related stats on his passive, which is considered a passive buff, not an active buff, right? So when it's an active buff, it will have the blue icon. But yeah, these are the only three characters, which is actually really insane, because Blue Easton is good, but she's not really used as much as you would think. And then Green Hellbrum is rarely used because she's just better. Like, she's just a better version of Green Hellbrum. Like, let's be real, right? And Aaron's not as good either, and his is only on his ultimate. So if we take a look, right, his ultimate is the only thing that increases his own attack related stats, right? And this is not even for the allies, this is just for him. So it's a little bit of a selfish attack related stats buff, but it is what it is. Increased defense. Taizo is the only one that increases defense, which is insane. Increases defense related stats. So these 5 units are the only ones in the game that increase defense related stats. Now, Green Diane will become meta, or sort of anti-meta, I guess you could say, when the 1 drops. Once the 1 drops, she will be really, really useful to have because of this. Because she herself increases defense related stats for herself. She increases defense related stats for allies. So does Alette. Again, he does the same thing, but on his ultimate for himself. And then he does it for himself as well. So yeah, increases HP related stats, right? These are the only 4 and the units in the game that increase HP related stats. And then Solidify. I don't know if Global has this unit. I don't know if I don't think we do. But yeah, these two are the only ones that Solidify, which is crazy. All right, so protection buff effects. Now these are the ones that have like evasion, barriers, immunity, etc., etc. So you guys already know Goddess Elizabeth obviously has her barrier, and then she has a barrier at the start of her, like, as soon as she gets into the match, basically, she has a barrier, and it taunts. Merlin and Red Grimoire have barriers as well. So if you're looking for units that have barriers, those are your 4 right there. Evasion. Only 2 units in the game that have evasion. Honestly, that's kind of a good thing. But, yeah, these are the only 2 that have evasion in the game. Immunity. Removes debuffs and grants immunity to debuffs. Now, that's a lot of characters. That's actually a lot of characters that do have, you know, debuff immunity. Or just straight up immunity itself. Which is very good, by the way. Which is very, very good. So, if you're looking for those characters, here they are. You can click on each of these characters when you go onto the site and get inside their, you know, stats and whatever. Petrification immunity. Droll currently is the only one who has this, but I'm sure we will get another unit. Again, maybe we could get a Purgatory Ban that has this too, right? He'll get petrification immunity, or we could get, I don't know, Chandler or Kusak or something. You know, just some other unit besides Droll that has this, because this is very good to have. Although Petrify isn't like crazy in the meta at the moment, it's still very useful to have in case you do fight against another blue Droll or king. So it's very nice to have immunity to petrification. Now, taunt directs all enemies single target attack. You guys already know what taunt does. Yeah, you guys know that these are the only 4 units in the game, which is crazy. But this is considered a passive, an active buff. For some reason, there is a taunt stance, which you guys already know Esterosa has, and then there's a buff taunt. I don't think there's a difference. I just think it's literally, this is considered a buff and the other one's considered a stance. I think we'll get there, but yeah. So they're not the only 4 who have that, but they're the only 4 who have this considered as a buff, right? I know that's a little weird, but bear with me. You know, sometimes this game does some crazy stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go down. So we go down to damaging buff effects. Abyss and Reflect. Yeah, these are the only 4 units in the game that have damaging buff effects. But these are good things to have. Now, Reflect is a little bit more on the side, because if they have a lot of lifesteal / like regeneration, they are going to heal up a bit more health than they'll actually take reflected. But if she's 6 out of 6. And if you get a level 3 with these guys, they pretty much do reflect 100%. I think she actually reflects over 100% of the damage dealt back at the enemy. So it's very good to have. And then Abyss is just really crazy good. It's actually really good. I hope we get another unit that gets Abyss soon rather than Blue Festival King. So special buff effects. Yeah, these are the only ones that have special. And they're considering... I forgot the name of the boss. You guys will give me in the comments for it. But she's the only unit that we can use that actually has a special buff effect, and that's Resurrection. And this is considered a buff, and it can be removed, by the way. So it's not like, you know, invincible. It actually can be removed. Like, literally, you use, I don't know, green Escanor, level 2 Cruel Sun. It's removed, and it kills the unit that has this. So, I mean, there are ways to get around it. So it's not that crazy, but it is still very, very unique. Now, debuff effects. These are all the units in the game that have debuff effects passively. Again, I'm going to keep saying that passively. You see an icon appear, right? So, decrease attack. Again, decrease attack is nice, but you really do want the decrease attack related stats. That's what you really want. And we don't have Green Easton yet, but right now on Global, these 4 are the only ones that have it. Decrease attack. And they're not... And she doesn't know her passive, and they have to basically have more than 3 alt gauge orbs in order for her to actually decrease the attack. And it's kind of here. Let's just click on it, right? So yeah, she decreases attack of enemies. That's not. Again, that's bad. Like, that's not good. You know what I mean? Like, you want it to be attack related stats. If it were attack related stats, it'd be better. But yeah, no. And then Green Easton, again, we don't have her, but she will be coming out. Although she might not really have a place when she drops on Global, but we'll see, right? We'll see. Again, you want this decrease attack related stats. These are very good to have, like, units, because you guys already know Valenti's very tanky because of her passive, and the fact that she can do this you know, with her skill makes it even better. Rugal has a single hitting target. I think both of them are ult. Yeah, both of these SR Greymores are on ult. And then you have Dreyfus who does this on skill, I believe. Ult. And his is... He has a skill that decreases attack related stats, and he also has a passive that decreases attack related stats. But again, his is considered a passive buff, and it has a gray icon, which means you can't cancel it until you hit him. So it's really good, and then I guess she can be good because she has an AoE decrease attack, whatever. Decrease critical chance. This is a skill I really want them to put in the game. Decrease critical chance. I really want them to give this to more units. This is so good. This is so good to have. Imagine you do this on Sariel and he has no way of taking this off. Bro, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. I forget what his is. Oh. Okay, can we not? Okay, maybe he's like broken or something, right? I don't know if we can look. Hold on. That was weird. Maybe, is he like broken? What's his name? Walio? I forgot his name. I honestly forgot his name. Is he not even... Okay, well, whatever, right? Either way, it's good. It's good to have this because decreasing their critical chance is... it's just amazing. It's amazing. I really hope they do give this to more units in the future. He's the only one with decreased defense, which is pretty good, actually. Decreasing defense rather than just decreasing attack, I think is actually better. But, yeah. So, and then all of these units decrease defense-related stats, which is very, very good. And it's just going to keep adding on. She is coming out, actually, for the next update for Global. And then he's going to be given for free. So, that's basically 2 extra red units that decrease defense-related stats, which is really, really good. And then decreased critical defense-related stats, which is actually amazing to have as well. So hopefully they do give this to more units in the future. Decreased HP, amazing. Of course, you already know you don't want them to have as much HP. And hopefully they do come out with more units that have this as well. Decreased HP-related stats. Again, more units should be added to this. And then decreased ultimate move damage. I do want them to have units that have this as well. So there you go. Disable skill effects. These are... This is where it gets crazy. Disable attack skills. All of these units disable attack skills, which is crazy to just think about, because when you think about disable attack skills, one unit that comes to mind off rip is like Red Gother, right? And then Arthur. So those are the 2 that come to mind automatically, but then there's all these other ones that disable attack skills as well. So it's really, really cool. Disable debuff skills. Well, these units, of course, you already know Green Droll, the king of doing it. Very, very good. Death Pierce can do it, but he's kind of like a last resort kind of character. So pretty good. Disable buff skills. Again, really, really, really good to do. Disable recovery skills. Not as crazy, but can come in clutch. Disable, this is called like blockade on global. So all of these units have blockade. They just call it disable rank 2 and 3 skills, but I think it is called blockade on global. So only 3 units, and we don't even have this. So technically only 2 units, and she's rare. So only technically 1 unit, right? I mean, yes, we have 2, but you can get him from the coin shop. So that's 1 character right now that's easily accessible that has blockade. So not really the craziest. Disable stance skills, which isn't really that great, and then disable ultimate moves. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the characters that have like disable skill effects, actively. Damage overtime effects. This isn't actually the biggest, but there are a lot of units that have bleed, corrosion, explosion, poison, and shock. So these are all of the units, and I'm not even gonna go over because you guys already know what these debuffs do. But yeah, it's not the craziest category, but eventually we will get some crazy units. The only one that's really crazy that comes to mind is 1, 2, and then honestly like 3. Like these 3 are off rip come to mind that are just crazy, right? But yeah, there are other useful units, but those 3 come to mind that are actually crazy. And then incapacitation debuff effects are freeze, petrify, and then stun. There are a lot of units that can stun. But petrify, There are only 3, unfortunately, and then freeze. I mean, there's 3, but I mean, he's doodoo. So like, you're only really gonna use these 3, to be honest. Once once Red Jericho comes out, you're really only gonna use these 3 to freeze. You're not gonna use them. You're just not. But that's pretty much it for all of the incapacitation debuff effects. Stun is good. I think stun is actually very, very good where it's at with the units it has. Obviously we could use more. They don't have Blue Arthur here. That's weird. I just realized they don't have Blue Arthur, and Blue Arthur stuns on rank 3. Maybe they meant to put Blue Arthur instead of the red one. I think that's what they meant to do. So yeah, this is Blue Arthur. This is what they meant to put Blue Arthur, but I think they just like messed up, but which is fine. But yeah, I think they meant to put Blue Arthur. So yeah, these are all the units. I think stun is actually good. We do need more petrifying units more than we actually need freeze, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I would like for a new unit to come out, like maybe a new version of Gustav, or a new version of Merlin, or someone that freezes and petrifies. That would be nice to have. And then these are the special debuff effects. Now the special debuff effects are like, yeah, Extort, disable ultimate move gauge, ignites, infect, inhale, and then increase damage taken. So those are the special debuff effects. And yeah, so extortion is pretty much exclusive to Ban. I do not know why they gave it to Fraudrin. I don't, but he does have it. So there you go. Disable ultimate move gauge is actually very, very, I wouldn't say prevalent, but you got green. Yeah, no, actually, I'll take that back. It's not that good. These units aren't like crazy top tier units, so you won't be seeing this much like, if at all. So yeah, no. Ignite. These are all the units that ignite in the game. We actually do need more people that ignite. As crazy as it sounds, we do need more people that ignite. Kyo is, he hasn't, I wouldn't say he's fallen off, but he's definitely not played as much. You don't really see him. No, both of these guys just ignite on their ults. She's actually pretty good. And then he only ignites on, yeah, we need more ignite units, man. We really do. We need more units like Kyo that work off of ignites. That's what we really need. I think that would be really, really good. And then obviously you guys already know Melascula does a thing on her commandments, but we're getting there, right? Infect, I actually think is pretty much a useless. Yeah, I pretty much think it's a useless debuff, because all it does is nullify recovery, which on paper sounds good, but then you realize they can still cleanse it, and then you're like, well, okay, now it's kind of doodle garbage, because I can't heal. Like, now they can literally heal and everything. All Infect does is basically, if there are no healers and you use Infect on an enemy, it'll literally just nullify any type of recovery they could potentially have, which is good when you aren't having to face a cleanse unit or people that can remove debuffs or something like that. And even then, it's not even that crazy. So Inhale is exclusive to Red Melascula. You guys already know what that does. And then increased damage taken isn't the craziest, but it can be helpful in certain situations. Now, these are internal effects. So these are all of the effects in the game that cannot be removed. And the only way to do it is for either one of these units to die, or for it to expire, or for a set condition to be met, right? So Deldry does Charm, which means if they are charmed, they cannot deal damage to Deldry, and which means if they use AoE skills, it's not going to hit anyone on the team. Coerce, they cannot activate debuff skills, right? And it can only hit Gallon, so very, very good actually. Transform, you guys already know what it does. It literally just transforms. Increase attack-related stats. Now, again, this is what I mean. His is a passive buff. His is a passive buff, which means it cannot be removed. It cannot be removed. It's not an active buff. It is a passive buff. So keep that in mind. And then a passive debuff as well on Ledo, right? Increase attack related stats, decrease defense related stats. Incapacitation immunity, very, very good. High tier, actually, very, very good. Decreases attack related stats, and then decreases HP related stats for both of these bonds. And again, the only way to do it is for you to hit bond. That's it. Both of those bonds. And then we don't have to go over the bosses, right? We don't really have to go over them. Heal effects, Rejuvenate, only 3 units. We're getting him, I think, next week or something like that. But yeah, only 3 units have Rejuvenate. I personally don't like Rejuvenate. It's kind of, in my opinion, it's probably, I don't want to say it's the worst heal skill, but it's not really that great. I'm gonna be honest with you. All it does is heal you by a certain percentage at the start of every turn. But the problem with that is with the units we have now, they will like make you suffer before you even get Rejuvenate off, or they'll just completely like just remove your you know, cleanse or whatever. So, or you know, restrict your disable recovery, and only these units have it. So again, you ain't seeing this, man. You're not seeing this. Stance effects, counter, again, counter. I guess Estarosa's, no, it has to be here, right? I guess his taunt is considered a counter. I guess so, right? So that's why it's down here. So counter, only these two have it. Ally counter, which is a very good effect. I think Ominous Nebula, Zeldris will have that, by the way. So when he comes out, I think he will have that. HP counter, you guys already know this can be one of the strongest skills in the game when he's at like 1 HP. But other than that, it's not really that crazy. And preemptive strike, and only Estarosa has that. So those are all the stance / counter effects in the game. And then okay, we don't have to go over bosses again. And then Greymoor has this stuff right here. And then we just go down to like healing stances, protection. There's a lot, right? You got all of this stuff. And the commandments, right? You guys already know what the commandments do. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You know, the protection stance effects, which reduce damage, evasion, immunity, taunt, etc., etc. These are all the units. These are all the units. So, I know it was a little bit of a long video, but hopefully it does help some of you guys out. You know, if you're looking for some useful information, if you didn't even know this tab existed on the database, well, now you know, right? Now you know. So again, hopefully this was helpful to at least one person, or just informational, right? I like doing videos like this. So again, if you enjoyed, go ahead and drop a like, leave a comment, whatever. Let me know what you guys think about the video. With that said, as always, I will see you all next time.